Good morning, darts world. I kind of always want to say that, like the Good Morning Vietnam thing. I like that movie. It was an interesting movie. Interesting character by Robin Williams. I know there's a lot of controversy around it nowadays, but I always wanted to say that. So good morning, darts world, darts fans, darts lovers. I'm your host here of Coffee and Darts. This is episode 95. We have 5 more to go to hit to 100. That's like a milestone of some sort. But my name is Matthew. Glad that you're here watching today. It's going to be an interesting day. We're going to be covering a number of different topics. If you're ready to go, and I see Dynamite Dave is, why don't you give me a 180 in the comments? Morning, guys. Good morning, Jules. Hey, congratulations again. Can't say that enough to you. Way to go on winning the cherry bomb. Real quick, we're going to be covering some cool stuff today. We're going to talk a lot about online darts, pros and cons. Definitely had some cons happen this past weekend when I was playing in the Soft Tip Central USA tour, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Angela got to hear some of those issues. Luckily, there's a mute button. So we're going to be talking about that, and this is really an interactive conversation. So I want to see in comments pros and cons that you guys think about as I bring up specific topics about it. This is really to be an interactive. You are my interviewees today. I'm interviewing you all with pros and cons. So I'm going to throw out some questions. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to do a drawing today. Got the hat right here. This is going to be for all my wonderful patrons that follow me on Patreon and gracious. My tongue stuck there. That's weird. Graciously donate their monies, give up their monies, their funds every month. So we'll be doing that, giving away some cool stuff. What are we giving away? I had it all over here. So I've got the Kyle Anderson tactical case by Shot. This is a really cool case. It's their tactical case, but it's got Kyle Anderson. I'll pull it out and show it to you. We can touch base on Kyle and what's going on with him. And I have this. And this set of darts that I forgot I had. And, you know, someone may want this, you know. This is the kind of stuff I give away when you're a member of that. Oh, this is Michael Smith, 22 gram. They are steel tip. So if you want soft tip, we can talk about some other stuff that I have laying around in the cabinet. But I figured I'd give that away today with the dart case, and that'll be for my patrons. So we'll be giving that out. Pros. So Daniel's already into this. He's like, I got it. Yes, Mr. Stewart, I wore this in honor of USA Darts production. It is almost the 4th of July, so we got to represent some USA-ness. So yeah, good jersey. If you guys haven't seen this, this is available by one of my sponsors, Magic Wear. You can go over to magicwear.com and get these. Also want to thank Magic Wear for the jerseys that they do for Coffee and Darts. Also, if you don't want that set of darts, you can swap out for a jersey. That was going to be my other option today. Just thought about that. And I do want to give a huge shout out to Shot Darts. Just the whole team over there. They sponsor the show. Just really good people, great communication, always in talks with them. They let me in on some of the new stuff that they have coming out. They've got some really cool stuff coming out this summer. Just new lineups, the players that they've signed. They've got darts that are now done that the players are using, and so they're now doing productions of them. So Daniel wants a signed jersey. Wow. I don't like, do you want like one that's off my back? Because I've got some hanging in my closet. We can always make that happen. Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, Angela. Angela, we're going to be talking about pros and cons, of course, today of the online game. And I get to talk about part of our game this past weekend, where I want everybody to know I did lose. And I'm blaming some of it on the cons that I had going on, but not all of it, because Angela just played really well darts, especially considering she had just driven for 2 hours, hopped right on and played. So I did lose there. Congrats to her. So we'll be talking about that. But again, Shot Darts, love those guys. They make artwork we get to throw. What you're not going to hear me say today is a particular flight and shaft system. We had basically an agreement in regards to sponsorship. Not that I don't still use them, as you can see, they're hanging around here. But like I don't want to say they didn't hold up to their end of the deal, but they didn't hold up to their end of their deal is basically what did for the sponsorship. Still a good company. It just really, there was a lack of communication. And so I've kind of dropped them as a sponsor. So what does that mean? I have space for another sponsor. I always have space for sponsors. I mean, if I had 20 darts manufacturers that want to sponsor, I guess we could make that happen, except for I'm not allowed to do that with SHOT because that's in our contract. But there are other things that can sponsor. So if there's another flight shaft company out there, a flight company like an L-Style or someone like that, that says, hey, we would like to jump on and sponsor this, that would be great. And then if you know people over in these companies that want to maybe sponsor a show like this, that happens, that gets some eyeballs, be happy to talk to them. It's a simple sponsorship package. It's nothing crazy. So just putting that out there. Oh, also, what's this thing hanging around my neck? I know you guys are asking that question. I've seen it in the chat not once, but I'm sure you guys are. This is a dart ring. Check this out. The dart ring. See this thing? Holds my darts. I don't recommend doing this with steel tip. I did it a couple of times and it was bloody. But you know, if you're a soft tip player, you have your darts right there. These are available at A to Z darts.com. Check these out there. It's a blown glass dart ring and it holds your darts. Everyone is individual. So none are the same. This is the green one. So this is pretty cool. And it just holds them right there. I'm good to go. Like, I don't have to do anything. Like, I can talk to you guys. I can drink my coffee out of this beautiful coffee and darts mug. And my darts are right there. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm like, whoosh, whoosh. See, I'm good to go. It's a pretty cool product. It is again, every piece is individual. They're available at A to Z. It's a really nice way to keep your darts available, and it's handmade here in the USA. So representing there. All right, let's get into what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to do the drawing here in just a few minutes. Online dart play. Oh, I want to talk a little bit about social media darts, maybe if we get into it today. If not, we'll jump into it a little more next time. I have Scott, I'm glad that your mug works well. It holds watery stuff. That's awesome. Mine does too. I actually haven't broken this one, so I've been quite surprised. I keep telling my wife that I'm going to make sure that I have a set of 6 because I'm bound to have a child break one, and it hasn't happened yet in a year. So I'm quite impressed with my children at this point in time because they break a lot of other things. But I do want to touch base. I want to talk a little bit more about social media as everybody's getting back to playing and things are happening. We get busy doing stuff. And if you're a player and you're trying to promote yourself or promote brands, social media is an important part. I'm probably one of the worst people to talk about it, one of the best people to talk about it. What I mean by that is I don't do a lot of it because I'm busy with so much stuff. I have a company that does it for me on the real estate side of things. I do personal stuff on the real estate side, which is my money-making business. But I actually have a company that I hired that handles a lot of it for me because I'm busy. As a darts player, social media-wise, you really need to be doing stuff. Larry says he needs to order some more coffee. That's a good one. I need to basically we got everything kind of fixed with the coffee company. So I either need to add it back to the website or figure it out. We were trying to build a new website. Like I had a guy that was building a new website again. And he just didn't understand darts well enough for me to want to work with him. Bottom line. Yeah, Brian, I didn't realize. I know I'm getting totally off topic. That's the beauty of live stuff. Like the metal one, so the sample that I got of the metal one was a bigger. I used to have one hanging here, and I don't anymore. Was a bigger one, and then this is actually what you get with the size comparison. What? Yeah, so the ceramic one. Hey, Brian, let's talk. We'll figure out how to get you something that'll get you coffee. You know what I'm saying? Because good morning, Tim. Good morning, Mackenzie. Michael Ross. So anyway, back to social media and the need for it. I have been in the marketing world for many, many years. You guys might remember this movie called The Passion of the Christ. I worked on the team that marketed that heavily. And I also worked with Disney on The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. When that movie came out, our company really handled the marketing for that for Disney. And there was this movie called The Nativity Scene, or Nativity. The Nativity, I should know it because I saw it 24 times showing the movie to people. I handled the entire marketing deal with that. And then I've done a bunch of other stuff. So I've been doing banner ads on like websites since the inception of banner ads, like way back in the early 90s. When like P60s were cool. P90s were like, oh my God, you have a P90. I remember the P100s came out at $210 a piece just for the chip set. Didn't even come with a fan at the time. It was just the chip set. And it did come with grease. So I'll say it did come with the grease for the fan, but it didn't come with a fan. I don't know why. But yeah, so I'm that old when it comes to that type of stuff. And so I understand it a ton. I just don't do a lot of it. Plus, I hate social media, be very honest. But in my thing on that is I actually sat down with someone and we wrote a book. I've been writing a darts book and I thought it would be much quicker and it's really not. But part of that book is going to be social media. So we really hone in on that. And I kind of have this like 30-page book on social media for the darts player that's done. I just need to get all the imagery and the finished edit done, which I'm hoping to do in the next week or two. And then I'll share it out with you guys. And my patrons will certainly get an advanced copy of it so that they can see what it's like. So anyway, so that's the social media piece. I would love to talk more about that and be able to share that because there are people on here that probably need to do more to promote themselves to go further with sponsorships and so forth. All right. Pros and cons of online darts. Let's talk just briefly about that. You know what? Before we do that, we're enough into this. There's enough people here. Roy's not here, but that's Roy's problem. Let's do our drawing real quick, and then we can get into what we want to talk about. I know it kind of sucks. It's like the 12-minute intro. I apologize, but let's do it. Will the book be on Audible? I hope. I intend to read it and see if Audible, because I do everything on Audible. I just checked the other day. I have listened to almost an entirety of 3 months worth of Audible in the last whatever number of years that I've been listening to Audible, like 4 or 5 years. Literally that much time, what would equate to almost 3 months worth of time listening to books. That's how much I drive around. So I'm hoping to do that. I would love to put it out there because that's how I would ingest it myself, not by reading it because I'm lazy. Oh, no, I drive. I'm busy. Whatever. I don't have time to sit back and read books anymore. It sucks. All right. Good morning, Justin. Okay, so let's do the giveaway right now. So for those of you that don't know, I have a Patreon page. I don't push a lot of the stuff. People do know about it. It's in some of my review videos. But if you go to Patreon and look up Atomic Darts, you'll find me. Currently, I have 9 wonderful people that give their hard-earned money and they kind of help support. It's really cool. So I do drawings and we do giveaways during the time if I remember to do it, or some special things like if I have stickers or whatever, I send that to people. Like last Christmas, I just gave everybody a set of darts. For the fourth quarter, it was like everybody just got a set. But each quarter, I do draw something. I give something away. So, like, we have the tactical dart case that we're giving away. This is pretty cool. And Kyle Anderson, even though he's retired right now because he just had a little baby, he's not totally retired because he is planning on coming back and, like, release this tactical dart case, which is their tactical dart case, but it has this Kyle Anderson graphic on it, which is really cool because he had just signed with him not too long ago. And then he had baby coming, and so he took a break, but he's not done, I don't think, from what he said. There's that. And if you want to hear the interview I did with him, that's out there. You can watch it. Then I have these, which are the Michael Smith 22-gram steel tip or a jersey. So you can pick either the darts or the jersey, and you're getting the dart case. But what I have done is I've got a hat with numbers, and if you are a patron for 3 months, during the quarter, or 2 months, or 1 month, and it's at a certain dollar amount. It's basically what I call the league player, which is $10 or more. If you're a spectator, you're in the hat once, but if you're a league player, you get 3 chances. So like right here is number 9, which happens to be Roy, who's not watching. So I'm going to fold these and put these in here. So, and I'll put them in the hat. And so if you're in there, if you've been a patron for the 3 months at the league player realm, you're in here 3 times. And other than that, you're in there once. And we're going to draw a number. And just so that you guys know that this is fair, let me do this real quick. Number 1 is Soft Tip Central Network. Number 2 is Jason Watt. Thank you, Mr. Watt. Lucas is number 3. Scott Carter is number 4. Dave is number 5. Larry is number 6. Douglas is number 7. Will Stewart is number 8. And number 9 is Roy Collins. Okay. So, eyes closed. Switch hands to make it more even. Here is a number. We'll grab an individual number. What number is that? What number is that? It's number 7. See if that'll focus in. Too much light here. Wow. Does that help? Is it coming in? Number 7. There you go. Number 7, which is Douglas, who I think has won at least once before. You are our winner for this quarter. So I will reach out to you, and you'll have an option to pick whatever you want to pick out of that stuff. So there you go. That's our drawing. Let's get into our conversation today. Let's talk about pros and cons of online darts. So online darts has been around for a while, okay? There are... I don't know if you guys can hear the kids screaming in the background. Yeah, that's part of the problem with online darts. But, so online darts has been around for a little while, predominantly done with soft tip. As you can see behind me over here is a board. Down here is a board that gets used for practice. And of course, those are grand boards. And then I have the Nexus, which normally hangs on that wall, but my Boom Darts big display case, not display case, but my dartboard holder, the 3-1 that rotates, is back into the potentially going to get a ship soon thing, and that's going to finally show up now that things have kind of calmed down with the COVID stuff. And so I have stuff getting ready for that to load up. But so we have Nexus and we have the grand board. And let's be honest, grand board was probably, there's another one out there called Dart. There's Dart Connects. It was Darts Connects. I don't know. It was a board that you could buy on one of those websites where they, what am I thinking of? I can't think of what it's called. But it was another one out there. It was like really the first one, even before, like Nexus was number 3 and the Grand Board. So Grand Board was kind of the number 2 one. So there was this other board that came out and it had the ability to do that. It wasn't Dart Connect, because Dart Connect is that program. There was actually a soft tip board that you could buy through. It was one of those programs where you can go in and put money in up front and then get the board. And it hit the market years ago, like 5 years ago. I remember watching it. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. It didn't work really well. Dart Connects. Thank you, Tim. V-Darts, of course. V-Darts has been around for a while as well. And there are a couple others out there. So in regards to online play, soft tip was really the first to kind of put that out there. I think you all agree with me in regards to that. So we had a couple different boards, and right now Grand Board seems to be, V-Darts has been around for a while. Their Viper did their Bluetooth board that had the ability to go online. They just didn't build out the community enough. That's not who they are. The problem with the V-Darts is they're super expensive. But soft tip was kind of that entryway into this whole thing. And Grand Board, I think you'll all agree with me, has really taken the community piece to another level. The ability to do the community piece, the ability to do tournaments, the ability to play people around the world. They've really stepped up that department in a much better way. So that's a pro. These are pros to this. And hopefully those that catch the video later or that don't watch a lot of these videos or play a lot of darts, that's kind of where I'm hoping they'll get this information. So, there's that huge community that's out there in the world of darts, which we know about. And Soft Tip being more Dart Connect than anything else has really allowed that play to go on. In Steel Tip, of course, we have Dart Connect, which is an awesome platform that allows you to keep score of stuff. There's different ways to make it work to play others with using that program. Now, of course, they've added that piece in, and they're driving home the ability to, they're working on the camera piece and the ability to play others and do Steel Tip. We saw the unicorn board that kept score that was supposed to at some point have an app that allowed you to do that. And of course that died out. There are some of those scoring rings that are out there. There's 2 of them that are out there currently. I don't know, I don't hear a lot. They were like, oh, everybody talked about them. They were really cool. But they were super expensive, like $600 to $1,200 for a counting ring. And I know that the dart referee uses his for practice, but it's not on his regular board. But so there is a benefit to those counting rings, maybe more from a practice stance than the ability to play other people around. But that was an option that they were looking at doing. I looked at getting one to review, and I just didn't see, I don't know, I just haven't pulled the trigger on it, we'll say. I kind of like Steel Tip the way Steel Tip is. But I understand the benefit of that thing. So from an online standpoint, pros and cons. Pros, you get to play people. Like I played in a tournament on Sunday against people that were all over the nation, all over the world, in fact. So there's some huge, huge benefits to online darts. The community, I would say that most of you in here have great relationships with other people in other states. You have friendships, people you can call on and talk to. If you listen to the review or the interview I did with Justin from Soft Tip Central USA, and just the community that he's been able to get and the friendships that he has with people that he's not physically met, that's the benefit really of this online play, is the community grasp piece. In my opinion, that's really the biggest benefit of it. Outside the fact you get to play cool darts with people, play darts with cool people all over the place. That's pretty awesome too, but it's the connection point. We're seeing it with Steel Tip now. That's going to be allowed in there. Cons to all of this. Let's talk briefly about some cons, and then I want to talk about some of the differences of Soft Tip, Steel Tip. And again, this is an interactive, so guys, throw questions out or comments if you guys think, oh, here's what I think is more of a pro. Here's what I think more is a con of the whole online dart play. Love to see it. It does make our world smaller, which is awesome. At least it brings the community of darts together. But the funny thing is, even with that, it does and it doesn't. I will tell you, being at the tournament 2 weeks ago in Vegas, the majority of those people there, even though they're playing Soft Tip, really aren't doing an online game. I talked to a number of people, and the online situation, it was more community within that community. It wasn't the mass community of darts. It has brought a lot of people together that wouldn't, but it hasn't grasped the entire idea of, if you go to Europe, who plays predominantly Steel Tip, the whole online game situation and doing that, it's still taking form over there. It's still getting, the whole idea of 2 cameras. This is still a massively understood concept process, the 2 cameras, even 1 camera for a lot of sakes. There are a number of apps out there that allow you to play people, but you can't see each other or the board. You're taking it all in regards to just okay, you said this is what you hit. There's a lot of, potential for problems. So let's see with Dynamite Dave. Let's see. Downtime between rounds is awesome at home, so that's a pro. Dynamite Dave says, enjoying the show. Some great content for me at the noise with online darts, kids music, and the other day they sounded like someone wrapped boxes with tape. Okay, so noise. And this is one of the the downsides to this, and this is what Angela and I got to deal with this past weekend, was the other noises that happen around you. So I was home. Cindy knew that I had darts. So Mrs. Atomic knew that I had darts. It was my Sunday darts afternoon thing. We got home from church and it was like, okay, we're going to do some stuff around the house. And then we're going to play darts. And then I'm going to put my flagpole up because I got a flagpole and I had wanted to get my flagpole up. So she invited friends over for the kids. She's like, oh, well, I invited some friends over. Well, some of these friends are extremely loud. Like they don't have a low volume. It's just scream is the way they talk. And my son and his friend were here, right there, playing on that TV. And as you can see, my dartboard is right there. And they screamed at the top of their lungs the entire time I was playing darts. So the kids were really excited about the game. I will give them that. They weren't excited about us, Angela. They were excited about the video game that they were playing. And I thought, it won't be that big a deal. But what I realized is that they timed their screams perfectly so that when I was throwing or concentrating on, okay, I need to hit this particular number, because I think I busted twice on numbers I shouldn't have busted on in any way, shape, or form. I think I had a 58 left on one of them, went for the 18, and then going for the double 20. And I think I don't remember what I hit. I think I hit the 1, and I don't remember exactly what I hit, but I busted on that. I was like, busted on that? I mean, if nothing else, it should have been 18, go for the double 20, hit the 20, and then go double 10. But that didn't happen. I busted because the time to scream of joy for whatever was going in the video game was right as I was getting ready to release. So noise is a factor. Noise pollution is a factor. I won't say that you don't get noise in a dart hall with some people getting excited and all that. Normally you've got other people around there, but it's all darts related. It's not kids screaming at the top of their lungs. So noise factor is definitely a con with the online game. Another potential con is timing. I'm on the West Coast. A lot of players that do darts seem to be on the East Coast versus the West Coast. You know, you got darts players Florida, Tim. You got darts players New York, Anthony, if he was around. And you've got just all the stuff going on. Use earbuds. I've tried that. I've tried noise canceling stuff. It does the screeches of young children that are like 5, 6, 7, 8 gets through earbuds. It goes through your body. It's crazy. So we just have loud people in Nashville. That's true. It's very true. The people down there tend to be loud. But again, it's darts loudness. It's not kids. There's a difference with a kid scream and an adult being loud. But those are like some of that's a con situation, is that timing. That's where I was going. So like for me, I'm playing at 3:00 in the afternoon. Everybody else might be playing 6:00 in the evening. You're like, okay, we've had dinner. This is done. Kids are busy doing this or whatever, getting ready for bed. For me, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. Kids are like, hey, let's do something. Let's play. Let's go to the beach. Let's do this. Let's do that. I believe the first week that we played, I had been at the beach and I had to run home and play darts. So there's timing aspects when it comes to tournaments, when it comes to that kind of play. I know when it goes to the international, being able to play darts internationally, like Daniel did his 24-hour darts, which I did get the t-shirt. It's right there. It's been washed. That's super awesome. I did watch a lot of it at night, but as you saw, the one child that just came by, they were asleep. And if I play darts, it's loud enough to actually wake one of them up. Just the plastic darts, especially on the Nexus. The Nexus tends to be a little bit louder. And again, potential con for soft tip versus steel tip, which we'll talk a little bit about here. I wasn't able to really join in because during the day I had work stuff, other things going on. And then at night, when I would be able to have joined Daniel, unfortunately, kids were asleep. So I got to watch and chat online and have some fun with it. Noise cancel. Don't work on screaming kids. It's true, Dynamite Dave. Hey, kid, can you wait? I gotta go this way. Can you wave real quick? Say hi. Okay, so that's a kid that was playing a video game that was screaming. I'm just saying that's one of them. Okay, your friend was screaming much louder. But so these are cons to the online playing in a tournament. Is going to be noise, potential noise. It's going to be times, like if you're playing people around the world or you're playing a tournament that's in another place, you just have to set up for it. I'm not saying that it can't be done. We have an understanding that every other week on Sunday, if we're not gone on a trip or I'm not driving to Vegas or whatever, that that's what happens. I get to play darts. That's kind of the conversation that we've had this past week. Kids were invited, which is fine. If that happens again, I have a portable setup. I may go to my office and play and just play in my office. So, Ricky Jack says the con is like the match me and Andy had. His bull stopped working first game of the match. I do remember you guys reading about this, not registering. So he had to throw triples. I could have easily kept throwing bulls and destroyed him, but I didn't. I started throwing trips with him, and you still destroyed him. But it's cool. It's cool, Ricky. It's totally understandable. That's just because you're good at darts. So again, other potential cons to soft tip are going to be boards, equipment breaking. Steel tip, you don't have that problem. You might have a program problem where, say, Dart Connect doesn't work, or you've punched in the wrong things. That has happened in league play, because I do play in a steel tip league where we use Dart Connect, where someone will put something incorrect in the system incorrectly, and it kind of throws off the whole game. They don't put enough legs in. So things that can throw off playing. But when it comes to the soft tip side of things, if your board's not functioning, that can cause a lot of problems as well. The other thing that causes potential problems here is the players. Let's get into this a little bit. The potential for players to cheat is there. This is where two-camera action comes in, or at least camera that shows player and board. Like, as you can see behind me here, you can see this table right here. There is a piece on that holds my phone, because, of course, one of the other things with Dart Connect, or with the Grand Board, is there's an app. If you haven't seen this, I don't have my phone sitting here. There's an app that allows you to use your phone as a camera for the board. So I do have a holder right here that holds, you can't really see it, that holds my phone so that you can see my board. And then, of course, I have a camera on my tablet that's right there so that you can see me. So two-camera verification. It's like, the whole verification things. Rear view is required for a lot of attorneys. Ain't that the truth there, Angela? So, sorry. Yes, and Tim, normal hours are from person to person. They differ. You kind of have to make it happen. But if it's a tournament that starts at a particular time in a particular region, if you're playing in that tournament, you've signed up for it, or it's something you want to do, you just have to make yourself available for the tournament in the best condition that you can. Whether it's family, noise, maybe it's when you're supposed to be sleeping. So you have to make yourself available to play the best game that you can with those conditions. If you're going to a darts tournament, soft tip or steel tip, you can prep yourself and get yourself in condition. And apparently, it's been a while since I'd been to a tournament. I forgot that the tournament started at 7 a.m. with fireballs, and then a beer chaser, and then you start the tournament. So, and Mark says, most people using two camera with a grand board is a waste because you can see their board, but the lag is bad. You can't even see the darts hit before the round ends. That's not that. There's truth to that, and part of that has to do with internet connection more so than anything else. Internet speeds. Those are some of the problems. Some of it's the cameras, but the cameras nowadays really are designed and made so that they pick up everything really well. It really has to do with internet speeds. So, and Larry says, if you can get the Grand Cam to work, it has never worked for him, but I am an electronics dummy, so maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Larry, I don't think you're an electronics dummy, but let's talk. It's actually fairly, like, I was able to do it, and it just worked for me. So if that can happen, I might be able to help you out and get that to work. It's a pretty cool program and ability. Well, it's pretty easy. Don't sign up for the tournament. You usually know the time. If you join a tournament, you have to make time for an in-person tournament as well. Very correct, Tim. That's the thing is, but there are outside factors that will happen to you even when you sign up for an online tournament, planning your best. And I will say, like, I'm using this past Sunday as basically testimony to that, because in the fact that, like, I have it planned. It's on the calendar. Like, we know when the F1 races happen, because that's at 6 a.m. on Sunday mornings. I am up at 5:40, coffee made. Doesn't matter what I was doing Saturday before. I'm up at 5:40, and I'm sitting on that right there, watching F1 on that right there, because I have a computer right there specifically for this case. It's an old computer that I rebuilt to make sure that it would function properly to just do that. And so I do that. And we know that there's a calendar for it. And then I have my season calendared out for Soft Tip Central. We've planned vacations around that particular thing this summer so that I miss as few as possible, because I committed to it. I told the guys, yes, I would be there to play. That to me is a commitment. But in case from this past Sunday, to get to the point, like, I didn't realize, like, the kids getting invited over was a last minute thing, and they're loud. I don't know how to explain the loudness that was happening here. This, like, literally, I had neighbors 3 doors down across the street. They came over just to see what was going on, and my neighbor was like, "Hey, is everything okay over here? Like, we can hear you." And I'm like, "Nope, just loud kids." And then yesterday we had some more kids over, and they were loud, not as loud, but they were loud. And I'm like, this seems to be like a common theme. And I'll tell you what, my son, who's not the loudest kid in any way, shape, or form, has started to talk much louder since he's been hanging out. These are great kids. I have nothing against them in any way, shape, or form. They're really wonderful kids, great parents. They're just loud. My daughter is loud. That's just how she talks. These kids are extremely loud. So it was very nerve-wracking for me, and it wasn't a planned thing. Had I known that this was what was going to happen, I may have taken my dartboard to my office and just played from there. I would have just taken it and I've thrown it on the wall there or whatever, a couple screw holes I can fix. So again, it's a matter of planning out, but dealing with what comes your way. And I'm not going to say that was the reason I played bad. It did unnerve me a little. Angela definitely played better than I did. She practices a lot more. She's more in the game than I am. I love the game very much. And there are times when I get a lot of practice in and I get time of, like, kids aren't around. This week they're busy, so I'm shooting videos for reviews. A couple, I've scheduled it in for my week. I'm gonna throw darts more this week because I can squeeze it in. But for, like, Angela's just, and she's a better player. She's a better rated player than me. And I mean, I think I held my own kind of okay, considering. But she beat me hands down, and I can't blame it on the kids and say, "Oh my gosh, I should have beat you," blah, blah, blah. That's total BS if I were to say that. She beat me, and she's a better ranked player than I am. Bottom line. I think if I had my game on, like a couple weeks ago I did, I might have had a chance to beat her. Just saying. But it wasn't this past weekend, and that's why we play the game, right? What's going on, Devin Hunter? Haven't seen you in a while. Michael Ross says 4 a.m. for tournaments in Australia. So if he's playing something that's in Australia, or it's 4 a.m. for him. And Angela says there's reason she plays at 3 a.m. because there's people all over the world that want to play in small tourneys. And good for her. She has that opportunity. And congrats for her for doing that. I unfortunately can't as much as I would love to do that. I have said this before. Like, if I could get rid of the kids, man, I would play a lot of darts. If I win the lottery, that's it. I'm going to play darts and do videos about darts, and that's going to be my life. So, pros and cons. Let's get back to some of the pro side, and let's talk about some of the differences steel tip, soft tip, because you guys, a lot of you out there play. And again, the hope is that it's not just us that typically hang out on this channel that watch this. Other people do watch these videos after they've been recorded. They catch the audio version, because I do an audio version. There is a podcast. I turn all these into podcasts. Pro, no bar tab. There's Angela's, but you still got to go buy this stuff, but there's no bar tab. So that is a pro. You can bring your own drink of choice. Doesn't have to be liquor. It can be any drink of choice to your home game, whether you're playing steel tip or soft tip. So there's a pro. So we got a pro for it, okay? Food. You can have whatever little foods you want that make your fingers greasy and throw your darts off that you enjoy having. You know, you can have that salad if like you're hanging out with all the guys that are meat eaters, but you really like a salad and you don't want to do that in front of them. At home, you can do that. No one has to watch you do it, except for you get the green stuff in your teeth. It happens. I'm just telling you. And then you smile because you won or you lost. And you're just like, cheesy grin with a piece of, just saying. So you got to watch that. Pro, Devin Hunter, pajamas. Very true. You can play. I would think I was playing in flip-flops, Angela. I believe I just had flip-flops on when we were playing this past Sunday. I know, and Michael's going to watch this and go, don't wear flip-flops. I had them on. They were comfortable, and I played in them. Tim says, playing players from all over the world. Definitely one of the biggest pros about the online game. You don't have to play the same people, and you can improve your game. Huge, huge truth, Tim. And if you guys don't know, Darts Players Florida, Tim's very much involved in that, I would say. Certainly something to take a look at because they do some cool online play there. At home, no smoky burning my eyes, throwing in my slippers. So there's Larry. So again, that's a pro. A pro can sit and relax in your home during matches. Very much true. You can do laundry. I did laundry one time. I was like, here, let me fold it and hang this stuff up real quick. So there are just a little, huh, Tim? There are pros to it. But again, we've talked about cons, we talked about pros. What are pros and cons about soft tip versus steel tip? And this is not a soft tip or steel tip thing here, okay? Because I know Roy Collins is going to listen to this later, and then he'll be calling me and be like, dude, what? And I'm saying, I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. I play both, and I know that Roy plays both now too. Girlfriends don't complain that you're out too late. I don't know. My wife complains because I'll come out here and throw darts at midnight because I can do that. When kids are hard asleep, I can throw darts at the soft tip board, and she'll be like, dude, are you throwing darts? I'm like, yeah, I'm throwing darts. Leave me alone. Chris Clark says, I think there are pros for both the better players and the average player. Pro players get more exposure and more consistent competition without the expense. Average players get to experience some competition against people of their skill level and above. I'm adding that in there because I have had the opportunity to play players that are much better than me, and it actually helps me get better. Easy to play quick games in soft tip. Okay, so we're getting into the soft tip, steel tip, pros and cons. I agree in regards to that. Why? Here's why, in my opinion. Counting. Okay. Soft tip boards count for you. If you have a grand board that lights up, it'll light up and tell you where you need to throw. You just have to think, is it telling me to hit a double, a single, or a triple? I'm not sure. But you have to know enough math so that when it lights up, you're like, oh, it's telling me to throw it the triple. Or is it a single this time? You've got to be able to do that. But those are pros and cons. Or that's kind of the con-ish, pro-ish issue there with soft tip, steel tip. Soft tip will count for you. The other thing is if you're just playing straight soft tip, you don't have to go out on a double. So it can help improve game that way. And if you use it correctly, it should help you to learn to count. We have seen some professional soft tip players come to steel tip where they have to count, and I'm not going to bring up any names. You can certainly Google it yourself and find players that have spent an excessive amount of time counting, somewhere in the 2-minute mark in some throws, trying to figure out which way they're going to go because they're trying to count and figure out which triple to hit to, and so forth. Steel tip, good steel tip players know the numbers of the board, understand the counts, understand the math. It's a huge part of the steel tip play. It's one reason I really think they need to bring darts into schools outside of having sharp objects that kids get to throw. We need to, I guess you could do soft tip without the count ability. I just don't know if schools these days could do it. I just unfortunately, back in the 80s, we totally would have been cool with it. But I will blatantly, and I wanted to film it. Dylan just never got along with the filming aspect of when we, like during the school year, we had math half hour where we came and we played darts for math. He's just very good at math. So I had to make it creative on coming up, using the board for math. But I think it's a way, if you're homeschooling, like I wanted to film it and show it as a way for homeschool teachers, parents that are homeschooling, just because it grows the game of darts. If you can get all these homeschoolers now with dartboards and they're young kids that are having fun throwing darts, with, learning math, but they're throwing darts and they're excited about darts. And you've got thousands upon thousands of young kids doing this and seeing that, oh, if this is so much fun doing it outside of math hour with their dartboard, think of where the game would go. I would love to do that. So I tried to get Dylan to help me with that. Didn't happen. So if someone has a kid I can borrow, or someone like happens to be shorter than me and wants to act like a kid and try and do this, maybe I'll just film it without the kid this time. I don't know. It's like coming back. Like I really want to do this. It was a great situation where we used it for math. Hi, little. Do you want to come say hi to everybody? Come here. Oh, everybody's leaving. Oh, everybody's headed off to VBS. Say hi. Look at the camera. Not at yourself. Look at the camera up there. See the camera? See the black thing? There you go. Hi. All right. Family's leaving. We're not leaving. I'm not leaving. Angela says Stacey Pace used it for her kids. I just think that there's some serious, that's kind of like a huge pro with steel tip. You can do it with soft tip, of course. And that's what we use with soft tip. I just didn't have the board on. I think they're leaving. So that's pros and cons there. If you're playing a lot of soft tip and you go to steel tip, you got to be able to count. I will say this about steel tip and steel tip tournaments. And if you go to play in a pub or something, most steel tip players have been there and had to do the count thing, had to figure that out. Bye, people. Bye, Mrs. Atomic. Well, we got a wave, a fuzzy wave. I just want you guys to see this. This is the joy of, this is what happens like on a regular basis. So apparently we have lost flip-flops, even though he has 6 pairs. Sorry, got to bring the family into it, Again, most steel tip players have been there and have had to deal with the count situation. A lot of pubs and places, of course, have counting posters. If you look right there on my garage door, there is a poster. It's a counting poster. I use it sometimes when I'm playing, and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, what's the best way to go here?" And of course, there's multiple ways a lot of times. And of course, Dylan uses it, but not as much. He's actually better at counting than I am, bar none. Like seriously, it's crazy how good he is at it. I have seen him when we watch PDC stuff count better than some of the pros. It's crazy. But what I'm saying is when you go to play steel tip, if you've been playing a lot of soft tip and you're worried about counting and the numbers as the garage door closes, most people give you a lot of grace and will actually help you. Good players will help other players because everybody starts there. Everybody gets nervous about that. You go to play, especially if you're playing in a tournament or if you're playing with people for the league, like it's first time at league. The counting is probably the most nerve-wracking piece of steel tip because you really have to count in your head. But everybody gives you grace with it. Everybody allows you. You don't have to try and do like some professional players try and dance around like you're trying to figure something out, or like you're just like, oh my God, I gotta hit this, and let me lick my fingers a couple of times and dance around. Whoa, Scottish Lad just hooked me up with £2, $2, man. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. So you don't have to do that. You can just be honest and be like, dude, I'm counting here. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what should I go for? You'll find that people will totally help you out with that. Dart Connect. Let's talk a little bit about that. In regards to this, you have the ability with that tablet now to go and push what you hit and see what your number is. Nobody's going to fault you on that. If you're playing in a tournament, you have someone that's doing the score for you. In soft tip, you don't need that. In steel tip, a lot of times you'll have a scorer. You'll see this in PDC tournaments. The professional guys are up there and they're scoring. That's how a tournament runs. It's just how it goes for everybody. Unless you're on the big stage, of course, you have your referees, your darts referees. Sorry, I had to give that in there. That are doing it for you, but you can ask them, what do I have left? You can't ask them which way to go, but you can be like, and you can see, okay, this is what I have left. And you're going to have to do some kind of calculations. But if you throw and you miss what you were throwing at, you can ask Dart Connect, what do I have left? You punch it in there. Oh man, I was going for the 18, but I hit a 4. Oh crap. What? Like, oh shit. What? 4. Oh, that's what I got left. Cool. Okay, now here's what I'm going to throw at. Typical morning at our household. They're back.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. What are we getting? Anything good?
I forgot my phone and I don't have a house key, so I had to come through the garage.
That's okay. Typical thing. So, Angela says we were all beginners at the Chattanooga tourney this weekend. I had a good chunk of new players and nervous players that I had to help and tell small stuff to. It's a common thing. I remember the first time I went to play steel tip at league. I was super nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been playing a bunch of my garage. I've been playing against other people, blah, 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 whatever that may be. And then I had to do this in front of people. And when I got there, I thought I was a decent player and realized I was an okay player. But the best part of that was no one faulted me. Everybody helped me. I had people that were like, okay, because there were, the counting posters are up and someone was like, okay, here's what you just follow this. Like, don't try and get to 40 necessarily. Do this. And if you throw what these counting, posters are saying, you can see it now right back here, right there. And you kind of learn this, you're going to find that you get better. I know it says throw it to trip 19 and it's not what you're normally used to, but go for it so that you get used to going these tracks and these different ways and stuff. So it was really cool. What's up, Roy? Bullseyes and Brewskis. Hey, man, I did the drawing earlier today. You did not win. Sorry, bro. Sorry. I apologize. Oh, by the way, I just want to throw this out here real quick as we are winding down our time. But Bullseyes and Brewskis does have their new jersey. It's the blackout jersey. I have the white jersey. I'm not wearing it because technically my sponsor didn't make it, so I don't wear it for that reason. But they're super sweet. You should totally check them out. It's the blackout version. Go to their Facebook page and you can check it out. And I think they're like $60, so they're pretty cool. I'm definitely ordering one. I think today I'll get it that order in there. So look for my order, buddy. Speaking of sponsors, isn't this jersey cool? This does come from Magicware, and of course, Shot Darts, who is like the best manufacturer of darts ever. They actually manufacture the B-52s, which is what I've got right here. They, of course, they're a great sponsor as well. Scott, I didn't win either. You guys won without winning, though. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So Shot Darts, Magicware. I'm looking for a new sponsor for flights, shafts, or any other darts-related type thing. Definitely looking for a third, fourth, fifth sponsor, whatever. Anybody that wants to jump on here, I'm happy to do it. And I'll be honest, I make it super easy for sponsors. I don't make it really hard at all. If you want to sponsor, we can work something out. Just throwing that back out there. All right. Oh, Bigfoot. Yes, you do need to talk to Jen about a Bigfoot shirt because she can crush a beautiful one for you. Bigfoot, I would really like to connect with you because, like everybody says, I need to have you on the show. I'm putting this out live right now. Let's connect and see if we can do an interview during the week, and I can just play the replay. Love to get together with you and have that conversation. But Dave, Condor, I'm still playing the product because I really like the product. Unless someone wants to send me something and I play with that for a little bit, I'm not opposed to switching. I'll be honest. It's flights. I've used a lot of different flights. I've used all the brands. I just kind of sat with the Condors, and there were two reasons why I sat with them. One, these are awesome for my kids because they're easy for them to use. And two, I just like the whole shaft flight combo thing all in one. I really like it. I do like the easy flights. By the way, these were done by Custom Flights. I can't think of the gentleman's name there all of a sudden. I want to say it's Daniel, but it's not. But he did these atomic ones. These are really cool. I like those. I'm not opposed to, it's the shape of the flight that really matters. I've gotten used to these, but I could switch. So Condor, just the bottom line with that particular sponsorship is we had an agreement, at least I thought we did, and I was holding up my end. I just think there may have been some communication as to what that agreement really was, even though it was put in writing. I wasn't asking for money on their side. Bottom line, we had a different agreement, and it just never materialized. So I've got to look for someone else. It's business. Bigfoot. Okay, cool. So I'll connect with you and we'll get that done. Let's get back to this whole ordeal, pros and cons of online play, steel tip, soft tip. We've kind of touched base on a number of the different things. Some of the cons are, one, we didn't touch base on is noise aboard. So soft tip boards are noisy when hit. I mean, there's a sound. I don't want to say that. I will say the Nexus is louder in my opinion. And maybe it's because it's that all-in-one piece. And man, when it's on the wall and it's hung really well, but it's a nice thud. It is a really nice sounding thud, but it's got some noise. And if you're in an apartment or a townhome, a condo, and it's on a wall that's neighbors, they're going to hear it. That's just part of the deal. I think Jennifer Mounts put out a video 5 years ago about that because she was dealing with that. That's a downside. Soft tip, not so much of the noise because not soft tip, steel tip, because the steel tip's just entering in, going through those fibers, and it's not as loud, especially if you set your board up right and it's nice and snug. You're not going to really, you don't hear it. It's kind of it's its own sound. It's really cool. The Grand board, if you snug it up, use some wedges and make it nice and snug, it's got a good sound, but it's not as loud. But there's still noise to it. So that could be a con. Very much so. And if you have kids that happen to sleep where one of their walls happens to be near your throwing dart cave, whatever you want to call it, garage, whatever it may be, and the potential to wake them up, even though you've put foam and stuff against the walls, because it has happened in the past where they were light sleeping at a particular moment at 1 a.m. in the morning, and you happen to wake them up, and then they were up for the whole morning, and you had to stay up with them, and you actually hadn't gotten any sleep, and then go to work the next day. That can suck. Just saying. Not that I know from experience. Yes, that happened. And that's when my wife said, look, you ain't doing that anymore. I said, okay, no worries. Because the kid was a pain in the butt all day and she had to deal with him. Tells her which one it was. Mark says my soft tip board is against my mother-in-law's bedroom. All right. Well, there's one way to play it too. I mean, you might find your board smashed into pieces, but hey. Apparently cats is a con. Be careful, Devin, because there are some people that love their cats in here and love that their cats mess with them. Dogs can be a con too, ask Jennifer Mounts. We were actually dog sitting this past weekend as well. We love to dog sit. We don't have dogs, but we'll borrow your dogs and give them back to you. He was kind of interesting when we were playing darts, when Dylan and I were playing darts. But back to all of this. So there are definitely some pros and cons. Bottom line, you have to outweigh them. I don't think there's any good con to stop you from any means playing online darts. You certainly should do it. The pros are finding definitely a way to do that with the likes of USA Darts Productions and the stuff they're putting on, Champ Darts and the streams that they're putting on. By the way, there are a ton of tournaments now coming from Champ Darts. There's at least 3 good-sized tournaments, if not, I think 5. I'm supposed to be going to Florida next week to commentate that, but due to some family stuff, I'm not going to be able to do that one. I'm hoping they will invite me to one of the other ones because I have chatted and had the conversation that I will be available for those no matter what. So really hoping for that. Was supposed to go and unfortunately had to back out, which sucks because I was really excited about that. But look, there's things like that. There's, of course, Bearded Dart Guy. He's got stuff going on there. There's Darts Players Florida, which is, Tim and those guys are doing an incredible job putting out some video, so if you want to play online darts. So that is a huge pro to this. And if you're a pro player, you're getting the opportunity to play. And the other cool things, like with the Soft Tip Central tour, we have professional players literally playing in that tour that I and others get to play against and lose against, but it's the fun of getting to play them. There's just some excitement to that. If you had an opportunity to play MVG, I was going to say Snake Eyes, Snake Bite, Gerwin Price, or any of these professional players, even though you're going to lose, you're taking the shot to play them. Let's just be honest. Let's just say, the guys that have gotten to play a number of these professionals that we see out there, Danny Laube, Danny Baggish, this Danny's come to mind, Matt Campbell and so forth, that have gotten the opportunity over the years to play them just in general and to see them. Think of all the people that played Cross before he became the world champion. The people that beat him, going to be like, dude, I totally beat him once. There's just something cool about that. The Ginger Ninja. Yes, I know. Matt Campbell's awesome. He's actually a really good guy too. He will respond to you in regards to questions that you might send him via Facebook. I had a question about a particular tournament where a commentator was a little inebriated, and I had heard about it, and apparently it was one that he played in. And so I asked him, and he found it for me and sent it to me. And it was quite funny to hear someone who I know who's a phenomenal commentator do a match when he was a little inebriated. And it was, a lot inebriated. It was pretty funny. But those are pros to this online stuff. The cons can be timing, noise, maybe where you play, could be where your board has to hang and dealing with other people because of noise from it. Cons between the particular, there's a lot of pros between the two different games, Soft Tip, Steel Tip. But right now, Soft Tip being the one that actually includes the entire world currently. Steel Tip's getting there. I think we're going to see apps that allow a lot of that. They do. I don't want to say they don't, but I mean, on the same level as Dart Connect, or as Dart Connect will get to the same level, I think, here in the next couple of years in the future. They're working on it. And so it's going to be good. So just excited to see. I just wanted to take a moment today, have you guys interject too. So go back through comments if you're watching this on the replay, or if you happen to just be joining. There's some good comments in there on pros and cons to why online game. There's good and bad to it. Steel tip versus soft tip. One of the other things, thinking about it, and we touched base on it real briefly, and I do want to talk a little bit more about it, is the propensity to cheat. Way too often I see in some of the Facebook postings about, hey, watch out for this guy because he cheats. I caught him doing this. I caught him doing that. We've seen it in some lower pro situations. We haven't seen it in like real money situations. There were a couple instances last year where basically people threw a fourth dart. It hasn't necessarily been a placement of a dart. I'm sure that's happened. And when you don't have cameras, cheating is really easy to, start off playing like you're normal, and then all of a sudden you get overly hot and hitting the exact number you need to, but your first 2 games weren't that way, and your next 4 games where you were perfect. We've seen some scores that have been put up that you have to question. So cameras are going to help a lot with this, but it does. And I will say, and this is where I was going to go with this, and Larry put it eloquently. If you need to cheat, you need to find something else to do. It's a game. The reality, Larry, and just in general. Yes. Sorry to get to another point. Angela's point out that cardboard ring that the shot bandits come with. There's a cardboard piece that goes behind when you hang it. It actually fits in there. It's a sound deadening piece, and that's of course for a steel tip, but it makes everything really snug. And then of course you can wedge it. Those are ways to soften the sound, deaden the sound. So there are things with that. Unfortunately, we don't have that with the soft tip stuff at this point. I thought that the Nexus would be much quieter because it really hangs on there. But with all that plastic and then the hollowness behind it, what they need to do is kind of foam back it, put a foam back on. That might help. Have some kind of a foam piece so you do it would deaden the sound. But back to the cheating situation. Unfortunately, in today's society, cheating is a way of life. Bottom line. Yeah, I'm getting a little into another, getting into another lane, but cheating is an acceptable situation now. Playing and not following the rules seems to be an acceptable thing. I've always kind of agreed with Jim Rome's comment of if you're not cheating, you're trying. I think there are ways that you can not cheat, and I don't think he meant it as in like full-blown cheating, but if you're not trying to get a little bit of an edge somehow, to better your situation, especially when we get to the pro level, and we see that in the PDC game, you'll see guys play much slower or faster, or do little tick things to throw off their opponent. And it's much more a matter of getting into their head. It's not so much a matter of cheating. Like, oh, look, I cut your flights. I did this. I blunted your points so they're not sticking into these damn hard-ass boards. People like Gerwin Price throw light enough that they just bounce out. Which is funny. You would think he would throw much harder. But so I think getting an edge is okay. It's finding a little something that might throw off your opponent. It's totally, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe standing a little closer to them, maybe eating garlic and breathing. and there's this garlicky smell, and that might just irritate them. And there's nothing you do with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Hey, man, or having kimchi. Hey, man, I had kimchi for lunch, like before we played. Sorry, it's like my power food. It's my power food. And that could throw someone off, just that smell. You'd be like, oh, man, that's just, it just gets in their head. That's actually acceptable in my mindset. I'm okay with that, because you got to get over that stuff. Cheating where you're cheating, you're getting a fourth throw. You're hitting a button wrong. There's no cameras, and you're literally inflating your score. You're doing things. People shooting poorly to get into a different level that's below their playability, so that they can be the big fish in a small pond. That to me is a really crappy thing to do, and is a worse type of cheat than other things. You need to play to your ability and go, and you really should be trying to get to the next level. You should get excited when you get bumped into the next level because your play has been good enough. Maybe you'll get slaughtered, but hey, you're into that pond and you're going to learn a bunch. But to dog it so that you can get into a pond where you're the big fish, that's a crappy thing to do to all those people. That to me is like, you should be banned from darts for doing stuff like that. My opinion. Should never ever do that. But yeah, sandbagging. Yes, I call it dogging it, but sandbagging it is more of a common term. Yeah, hit Taco Bell up before the match. I mean, those are things that, hey, it's totally, I'm okay with that. Charlie, the Boss Gray. Yeah. Would love to have you on, definitely to talk about darts and autism. Let's make that happen. Please DM me, and we'll make that happen. I really want to make that happen. Tim thinks it's funny. So this is a pro to online play. Remember, you can eat whatever you want. See, there is. But I really think I'm waiting for someone to do the kimchi thing or do something like that on a PDC level. I know certain things have happened before, but these are things that you can do. Don't cough when someone's throwing. Don't sneeze. Now, it does happen occasionally, but we have seen this past year where there was someone that just couldn't stop from the hack sneeze thing when someone was throwing. I'm trying to remember who it was. I can see it in my head, but I can't remember the players' names. Wow, that's bothering me. I'm going to have to look it up. But so those are the cheat aspect of the game. But in an online perspective, because we're talking about pros and cons of online, I kind of got off hand there just because I think all of that stuff's, I'm like, hey, but in online, you don't really have those advantages, other than you have the advantage of your home. You're in a safe place. For some people, that's a huge thing. There's not a crowd around you. There's nothing going on. You can make it however you want the space to be. The problem with that is when you go to a live event, you're going to be totally thrown off. It's going to be chaos for you. So having a little chaos at home, which I kind of like when the kids are around me. That's why I didn't kick them out of here and say, guys, I'm playing, get the hell out. I didn't do that because I don't mind a little bit of chaos, because I'm thinking about, what, when we get back to actual live darts here in Southern California, all 5 of us, because I just can't find a bunch of dart players here. But when we get back to going to the pub and playing and we get league going, which I think fall league is going to be live in person, I want the chaos to be a part of it. Because I think if you've gone almost 2 years with no chaos in darts, and then you go play in league, you go to a tournament and you're like, man, my darts are solid. And then you get there, there's chaos, you're screwed. So that is a con to playing in the online arena. The other con to it is there are some players that are super good in this arena because there's a comfort level. When they get to the real world of playing in front of people, we're going to have issues with them. There are some players that, of course, have been found. I'll say the truth. Jake Taylor, who's killing it in Champ Darts. Now, it's all been in online play, but his ability and mindset, he's going to do just fine. And he had played, in the public arena, so to speak, for league standpoint and so forth, prior. So it's not like he just all of a sudden picked up darts. This guy's been playing darts for a while, but it was through the online situation that he was really found. Bearded Dart guy, Jason Watt, which brought him to play Champ Darts, and he got his card, and he's done really, really well in Champ Darts, and he's going to get the opportunity to play live stuff. And he's one of those guys that will get the opportunity to go play for his tour card and for a world championship because of online darts. I mean, that's a story in itself for sure for him. So I'm excited about that. Hey, Lucas, just want to let you know I did the drawing this morning for second quarter for my patrons, and you did not win. I apologize. Sorry. I tried to draw your number really, really, really hard. It just wouldn't happen. Douglas Barnum won again. So, but anyway, let's see. Wasn't for online darts. Probably wouldn't. Never qualified twice for the NDA. Won this year and last year, but canceled due to COVID. So yes. So there are some really, same as Jules. Yes. Thanks, Tim. And Jules was on here earlier this morning. Thanks for him being on and catching the show. But yeah, he definitely, went out and won in public and won. And I'm excited for him. That was really cool. And I think it's going to help propel him in the darts. Really excited about that. Guys, I have gone over my typical hour thing, which I don't really necessarily mind this morning, except for I do need to go take care of some stuff like work related. Got to go do all that stuff. It's morning for me. So we're going to land this plane now. But Mark says, "What?" I got it just real quick as I said that. But Mark says, "What about those that throw slow like Menser, Pipe, Leonard? They use that to their advantage. It's not necessarily, I'm going to say, a cheating method. It's a way to get into someone's head, which we have seen Menser do. It was at his disadvantage, though. It has cost him the ability to play well when he goes too slow. We've seen that." But thank you guys for watching. I do want to give a huge shout out to Magicwear for the jerseys, great jerseys. If you need a custom jersey made, a one-off, or for teams, they do great stuff for teams. Check out Magicwear. Also, Shot Darts. Let's just be honest. They make the most beautiful barrels that are available out there, and we get to throw them. So just a great manufacturer. They really care about the darts community. So huge shout out to Shot. And again, I got some openings for other sponsors. If anybody wants to jump in and get in on the sponsorship thing, just have them call me or DM me. Be happy to do that. So I got Larry saying good shows always, Matt, and then Tim saying not all of them. What's up with that, Tim? No, I know you were talking about something totally different, but still, just kind of the way it came in. I thought it was fun. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week. I'm going to get in touch with Bigfoot. We're going to have him on for next week, and then we are going to try to think of who else DM me. I got to look that up in regards to having a conversation as well. So Lisa Tyler says, don't sandbag ever. That's the truth. Don't sandbag. It's not worth it. It actually just makes you look like a total a-hole because everybody knows you're sandbagging. But definitely eat some kimchi, eat some Taco Bell when you're going back to playing in person. Make sure that you do that. Taco Tuesday is always awesome. You can make that work. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging in. I could literally do this for another hour or two. It's always a ton of fun. I love having the conversations, but I do have to pay for stuff. So, thanks, guys, for hanging in today. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys next Tuesday with Bigfoot Shaver. He's going to be on the show. I just put it out there, so now I got to make it happen. All right, guys. Thanks. See you next week.